They found your music. It could have been anything. It could have been Rock Lobster. We don't know.
You Rock Lobster, yes.
Yeah, you would have
I love
run with
Rock
it.
Lobster.
Dun, dun, dun,
I had that one time after a trip over to Singapore. I had a case of Rock Lobster. You got to get the gel, a little comb. You know, it comes out.
There's an ointment for that, huh?
There's an ointment for that, yeah.
Well, let's welcome your guest. Ain't she a beaut?
Oh, yes. Here,
She's a beaut.
Take a look around.
Yeah.
Yeah, hair's a little mess. That's because I grab them by the hair. Not that girls don't like to be grabbed by the hair, but just on their terms. So.
Just saying.
Just saying, you know.
Just throwing it out there. I have so many questions for you, Al Snow. My personal favorite. Love you so much. I gotta say, if we're starting with this, how did this come about? Like, from the brainchild of who?
That would be, we were in New Britain, Connecticut. Head and I locked eyes. It was love at first sight.
Oh.
I've been very monogamous ever since, so been very tied down. You know what I mean?
You're very loyal.
When you find good head, you got to keep it. You know what I mean?
It's good advice.
It's not like you can go around just find that anywhere.
Yeah, it's very good advice.
Once you got it, don't let it go.
And a Comic-Con exclusive right here.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know where to start because I'm such a fan of you, Al Snow, and I'm so proud to call you a friend. But I'm going to get right to something that I love.
Okay.
Who here has seen Wrestlers on Netflix? I mean, I got to tell you, I watch a lot of wrestling, and it's like, you know, another wrestling show. I was told that the show was amazing. I would have watched anyway, but I was blown away with how captivated I was. Every episode, it's one of those things you just binge watch. Tell us how the opportunity came about with Netflix and OVW.
It was literally a 1 in a million chance. We acquired a couple new partners into OVW. One is now the mayor of Louisville, Kentucky, Craig Greenberg. He and his wife were attending a wedding, and a high school friend that they had went to school with was attending, and she was an executive producer for BBC America. You guys all know BBC, right? Yeah. And they got to talking, found out he owned a wrestling company. Literally one thing led to another. They brought an idea to another BBC producer who had a relationship with Greg Whiteley, the director, and he saw a teaser tape of it. He went to Netflix executives. They sent him to OVW to do a teaser tape for them, and then showed up. They were there from the end of May until the end of August. So they were about 3.5 months, filming 7 days a week, 12, 16 hours a day.
It's such an amazing show, and I felt like they gave every single wrestler their own feature, right? You got to learn about each wrestler, and you know, you had sort of an opinion when it first started, but like Hollywood Haley J, then she kind of did sort of an evolution in the show. Yeah. How did they pick, or did you pick, who was going to be featured in the show in terms of the wrestlers?
No, we had no input whatsoever.
Okay.
And we did not even see any of the footage until it premiered on Netflix. They didn't. We didn't even get to see the. What is that? Right in your face. We didn't even get to see the commercial. We didn't even get to see the commercial that they were doing until it aired as well. Yeah. So, and the conversation we had with Greg was he wanted 100% access to everyone's lives. Yep. And he wanted everyone to be 100% open. And then we, as a group, had to make a decision whether or not we were going to commit like that or not. So, you know, everybody, to their credit, was willing to basically open up their entire lives.
How did you feel about that in terms of like the privacy, kind of just, I mean, they really got very personal with you and all of the other people in the show.
I know that it drove my wife, Jessica, who's here today. Yay! It drove her nuts. Because they would come to the house all the time to conduct interviews, and I'd go, hey, they want to come to the house and film, and she'd be like, what? Why are they coming? And I go, I don't know, they just want to come to the house. Like, can't they do it somewhere else? I'm like, it's where they want to do it. So they were there a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
But there's so many lovable characters. I mean, Shira, for example, one of my favorites, a sweetie pie. Hollywood Haley J, who's actually just here in the UK. Hopefully she'll be at a convention soon. Yeah. But walk us through, I mean, all of the characters that were on the show. What are your thoughts on them?
Well, what you saw on the show is them. That would, you know, and I think that's why it worked, is because of the fact that always try to get the wrestlers as far as a character.
Yeah.
I just watch who they are, who they really are, and
Yeah.
then I try to get them to turn the volume up on that one part of their personality when they go to the ring. So the guy you saw in the ring as far as Cash was concerned, or the girl that you saw in the ring as far as Haley was concerned, is the person you see outside of the ring too.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more muted, but it's exactly the same person.
Yeah.
So for you, you know, you can relate to them because you believe in who they are. And that's really why it worked. And also, I can't give Greg Whiteley and his crew enough credit for to be able to put that together as masterfully if they did, and just made it so well. I mean, it was so good. So, yeah. What's going on today?
I don't know what's happening. No, honestly, it's an amazing show. But let's talk about current OVW, because there's so many amazing things happening for it. I'm hoping, you know, Netflix obviously put it on another level. But now we've got Mickey James as part of OVW. I saw recently that Mick Foley stopped by.
Yeah.
Tell us about the current landscape of OVW.
Well, I mean, the current landscape's kind of the same as what it's been. We have another investor who has brought in some new money, and we've upgraded our lighting, we've upgraded our sound, we've upgraded our production, and we're still, outside of WWE and AEW, we're the only other company really, I think, around that does live weekly television.
Yeah.
And that's Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern, if you guys want to check it out. It's on Triller. You can check it out on Triller or YouTube or Facebook. But in the United States, I mean, we've got a group of national networks between YTA, Action Channel, Next Level Sports, RCS, Lily, and Game Plus. We reach from Canada all the way down to Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Islands, and Bahamas, and we're in about 100 million homes.
You're global.
Yeah.
OVW is global. Again, Thursdays on Triller. Make sure you guys check it out, because you really are seeing, to use the quote, you know, the superstars of tomorrow. Because if people remember, they touched on it on the show, Ohio Valley Wrestling, OVW, is where, you know, Brock Lesnar started there. Randy Orton was there for years and years. There's been so many amazing names to come out of OVW.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Brock, John Cena, you know, that one class, Batista. Yeah. But then, you know, we have, quite honestly, we have a alumni of about over 200 that have went on from OVW to go to WWE or go make a major career and an impact in professional wrestling around the world. So.
And AEW as well. Is it Layla? Layla Gray. She's Layla, she's in AEW now. So again, this is where you're going to see the superstars that you will eventually be seeing on the biggest stage of them all. Are there any superstars that are in OVW that you think really have that it factor that we should watch out for?
Well, yeah, there are, but I don't want to say, because then if I say
Who do you hate?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
All of them. I hate them all.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all, well, you're only doing it because you like so-and-so. I go, no, I don't like any of you.
You got to be neutral.
Yeah.
Well, this is nothing new to you, because I was just talking to Dylan, we're the same age, we're 37. We grew up on Creed, My Sacrifice, and talking about that era. And he and I also love Tough Enough. So the original Tough Enough, walk us through that. I know they had different iterations of it, but I feel like that first season was really, really monumental in terms of letting the fans see how grueling training is.
Well, and the one thing a lot of people don't know is that really reality TV was only in its infancy at that time.
Yeah.
So there was only Survivor, and then there was the Real World, and the very first reality television show to combine the two, where it was a contest, but they were living together, trying to achieve something, was Tough Enough. That was the very first format that was done that way. And it wasn't done like it is now, where, you know, they just film 2 weeks and you're done. We filmed for 13, 14 weeks, where those kids trained every single day, 7 days a week, and, you know, and the producers were always like, well, they're not hooking up, they're not doing anything exciting. We'll go, well, you're wearing them out. I mean,
they're tired.
You got them training 6-7 hours a day. By the time they get home, they just want to eat and go to bed.
Well, My gosh, I mean, your career's been so amazing, but just to think of the people that you've shaped to become the stars they are, not only OVW, but Tough Enough. I mean, we have Josh Matthews from Tough Enough. We've got so many amazing
Kenny
names
King
that are still wrestling.
John Morrison, that's here.
There you go, John Morrison.
Yeah, they're all my kids.
We're totally going to ask him about Tough Enough when he comes in here.
You should.
We have to. We have to.
Yeah, ask him how he got on the show. He tried twice.
Oh.
And then I had to have a sit down with the president of MTV and argue on his behalf to get him on the show.
Isn't that crazy? We were just saying earlier how it's a fickle business, and sometimes as talented as you are, it isn't always, it doesn't come to that. It's kind of a hit or miss situation.
Sometimes, because it's so subjective. It's not objective. So it makes it a lot more of a challenge to be in the right place at the right time with the right thing to make that connection with the audience. And sometimes that might take you 6 months. Sometimes it might take 6 years.
Yeah.
16, you never know, So, but if you love what you do, that's all that matters.
It's great advice. And we have a lot of aspiring wrestlers that attend for the love of wrestling. How would you explain to them, how to deal with rejection or the unglamorous sides of wrestling? I think a lot of people just see it and go, oh, I want to be on that stage. But you, of all people, know what it takes to get there and to stay there.
Oh, plenty. I've been rejected lots. Even before I got into wrestling, my love life was not working out. If it's a passion, it's what you want to do, then just accept that it's not going to be easy. It's, anything that you really, if it's worth doing, then it's going to be something you're going to have to pay a price to do.
For sure.
So.
Well, in addition to wrestling, you are a jack of all trades.
I am. I'm a magician for the blind.
You are a magician, huh?
Yeah, they love card tricks.
They do.
They do. I just have to say ta-da after every trick. They don't know anything happened. It's like, hey, is this your card? And they're like, I don't know. And you go, it is. Ta-da. And they're like, oh my God, he's amazing. How does he do it?
You are multi-talented.
And I will never give up my secrets. I'll tell you.
Never. But you're also an author. Tell us about your book. Do you have it here with you, or can we get it online?
I get it online at Amazon.com.
Awesome.
Self-help, life lessons from the bizarre career of wrestling of Al Snow. I wanted to use the title "How to Take Shit and Make Shoe Polish," but the publisher was kind of against that. So
it's got such a nice ring to it, though.
It does, and it really encapsulates one of the most important lessons I've learned in life as far as wrestling. That is, take shit, make shoe polish. That's it.
It's real simple.
Just use that rule in all of your life. You'll be fine.
What else do you need?
Because you're always going to get a pile of shit. Now you make some shoe polish.
The book is amazing, and also your road stories from the book, are legendary, as are your tweets. Now, who's following Al Snow on Twitter and Instagram and all of that? Because I'll tell you what, yes, one of the best people on social media. You seem to really have fun with social media, not take it too seriously, right?
God, why? It's social media. It's not a real place.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not Twitter is not a real place.
Yeah.
I don't. Who cares? And there's so much negativity on it that I see stuff that makes me laugh, or if I think of something, I think, oh, that's dumb. I'll put it up there, and and then some people like it. Other people are like, you're so weird. And I'm like, Jessica, just go back in the room.
I'll see you at dinner.
I'll see you at dinner.
Jeez.
God.
What advice do you give to your students about social media? Because I was talking to Sean Waltman last night about, using it it can be positive and negative, but as a promotional tool, do you give them advice on how to use it properly?
Yeah, I think this day and age, young wrestlers have certainly an absolute advantage over what we did back when I broke in, when there were horse and buggies and, steamboats going across the Great Pond.
You're on the way to the show in a horse and buggy?
I had a booking over here in London one time, and I had to take the Titanic to get across. But, yeah, good times. I learned to swim.
I love your old stories.
I know.
Back in the day.
Floating on a door. My girlfriend pushed me off. It just never worked out. The advantage is they literally have a platform in their pocket that they can literally make themselves into an attraction, where back when I first started, we had to rely on the promoter and that outlet of television to reach an audience. Now they have their own creativity, their own imagination, and they can utilize it to whatever degree they want to make it. You know, look at the Young Bucks and look what they have made them. Because we were both there in Impact when they were there,
Yes, yeah.
and they were at the bottom of the card.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody really knew them. They started a YouTube show, and they literally made themselves into an attraction. You know, and the list goes on and on. But the two biggest pieces of advice is, number one, utilize it, use it, make yourself an attraction with it. But the second is, be aware that when you are selling a product, which is who you are, never not sell that product to the audience that they bought. So say, for instance, like, because I got a lot of heat for this when I made mention about Rhea Ripley recently, and that's if you're selling a certain person, a certain persona, a certain personality, do what you should do, because I know how all you young people love to share every aspect of your life nowadays, which I have no clue why. And trust me, none of you are that fascinating.
I don't see you like taking pictures of your salad or anything.
Right, yeah.
Look what I had.
But make 2 social media platforms. On all of them, make one of you, who you really are, and share stuff with just your friends and family. And then make a public one. And then whoever you are in public, be that person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because the most, whether you're in any form of entertainment, whether you're wrestling, whether you're a musician, whether you're an actor or a comic, especially comics, stand-up comedy, politicians, audiences have to believe in who you are. And if they believe in who you are, they'll believe in anything you do. And the only way they're ever going to get that kind of belief is if you are always that person whenever you're in the public eye, and that's that. And don't take social media seriously, because quite honestly, if you have somebody that says something negative on social media, you just go like this, click, oh, he's gone out of my life, done. I don't need to talk to him anymore.
It's great advice.
Or the best advice ever, because I did this and the guy was like yelling at me for 45 minutes. I get, because it was all in capital letters.
Oh, God.
He started like, you suck. And I just go, your mom sucks. And then he'd get all upset. And then I go, and he'd say something else. And I'd just go, your mom this, your mom that. It drove him insane. So the best retort to anything is your mom.
Dropping the education here, right here in Manchester, everybody. Al Snow, we love it. Can we do some fan questions, Mr. Brooker?
I believe we can.
Would you like that?
Do I have fans?
Yeah.
Look around ringside. If you've got a question, put your hand up. Do you have a question for Mr. Snow, or indeed for Head?
Oh, get up. You're drinking again.
You were just waving at someone on the other.
Oh, I thought he had his hand up. No.
Ring awareness.
There's a fanny pack.
Do you definitely have a question, sir? Excellent.
There we go.
Right, what's your name, please?
My name is... Hold on.
Rule, we don't touch the mic. I don't let go of the mic. I learned last year. What was your name, sir?
My name is Stephen. My question is, I went to the Liverpool Comic Con not that long ago, and I went to talk about who's the most underrated performer of the Attitude Era, and your name came up.
Oh, really?
Exactly. And we managed to tell a good Al Snow joke. So I would like, there's 2 questions to this. Number 1, if ever Mick Foley would like one more match, would you like to throw your name into the ballot?
Well, I'd like to throw Mick Foley into the match.
Exactly. And number 2, do you have a good Mick Foley joke?
Well, I'll tell you this, okay? And it's a true story. Back in the day when we were all, on the road, Mick would tell everybody how much he was going to be a stand-up comic when he got done wrestling. And now he's a stand-up, back, he'd say that, the entire locker room would just laugh. We'd laugh at him. Oh, yeah, you're going to be a stand-up comic. Now he's a stand-up comic and nobody's laughing, so.
That is a full circle moment, yes. Mick Foley absolutely loves you. He was with us in Liverpool. And all jokes aside, he had some lovely things to say about you, Mr. Snow.
We have a question. What's your name, my friend?
Matt.
Matt, and what's your question?
I recently rewatched your match with Perry Saturn where you won the European title.
Oh, thank you.
And I thought it was a great match to the point where I came into work and I was saying to this guy, there were so many twists. Like I was actually watching it before I came into work and I was like, I just didn't know who was going to win. And when I looked back at the match at the end, it was only about, I think, like 5-6 minutes. So my question was going to be, what's your opinion now on like longer matches versus shorter matches? And in terms of you as like, sort of OVW, what would you sort of encourage? Which do you value more? Or do you think it's a mix of both? Or?
It all depends on what kind of story you're trying to tell within the context of a match. And, based on pacing, it depends on, how long you really want to go. If it's not TV, and I have this conversation all the time whenever they roll my old ass out to wrestle every once in a while, with the young talent, because they want to know everything up front. And I'm like, they'll go, how long do you want to go? I go, I don't know. I have no idea, because I don't know where you're going to be at the highest point. That might be 10 minutes. It might be 2 minutes. It might be 15. It might be 20. My objective is to elevate your emotional investment to a place and a point where you pop, which everyone uses that term wrong, because pop, and I hope there are no kids around, pop is for a short version of pop their nut. So that you have to, yes, close his ears.
I never knew that.
Wow.
Yes, that's the truth.
Oh my God.
Honestly, it's you.
That is naughty.
When you perform and you come in here, you're trying to tell a story within a physical story within the context of a competitive combat situation, and to get you to emotionally invest. And then when you're at your peak, that's when I go home. I'm done. But I don't know. I literally, a couple weeks ago, I'll tell this story real quick. I'm on a show, and there's like 6 matches, right? So I'm match number 5, and they're doing a lot of wrestling, and the crowd's really into it, but they're just not quite. Hey, Randy Savage, good to see you. Not looking bad for a corpse. I would have thought you'd have lost weight by now. But anyway, I just had this idea because, quite honestly, thanks to Head, right? Let's face it, anybody pays to see us be act crazy and hit somebody with us. So I told the guy before I went out, I go, look, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know how long we're gonna go. And he goes, well, I do this thing where I try to take my robe off. I said, well, you do you, and we'll do our thing. And if I can get the audience high enough, just be prepared. So all I did was probably 4 or 5 minutes. I ran around with the Head, and at the right time, he turned around. I hit him with the head. I told the referee to ring the bell. I covered him, ding, 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 and the place went crazy. And I just walked to the back. Everybody else went out and wrestled 15 to 20 minutes. I wrestled 30 seconds.
Work smarter, not harder.
That's right.
Okay, so by the way, after this panel, I'm never using the word pop again.
Never.
I used it last night ring announcing. Now I feel terrible.
That's right. That's what you're trying to do.
Oh, Lord in heaven. Great question. Thank you.
I have so much to think about now.
Yes.
Question, sir. You're off the mark.
I love to scar people at these things.
There we go. Okay. What's your name, sir?
It's Tugboat. Hi, Al.
Hi.
Hi,
Cheers for coming to Manchester.
Oh, thank you.
So, obviously, you do amazing work with OVW. The Netflix series really was incredible.
Thank you.
Real eye-opening for anyone who didn't know about the product, what it was currently doing. Would you ever be tempted to join the big dogs at WWE if you were offered a chance to go to the Performance Center as a head trainer like Matt Bloom sort of style? Because you've got incredible knowledge.
Well, thank you. I'm always open to opportunities and things of that nature, and the door's always open with WWE. I'm actually going to, they invited me to attend, be a guest at the Hall of Fame in Philadelphia. So, the door's there and it's always open. I'm not opposed to it, but I really love what I'm doing and where I'm doing it. And since I'm a part owner in the company, then I've got a vested interest in OVW, and it's kind of my baby and my reputation and my name. And I'm going to make sure that it succeeds more so than anyone else. So I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I sound like Christian Bale doing Batman 24 hours a day now. Or you can think of it like this, like I sound like a didgeridoo now constantly.
You're giving us, I think it's also the chair. It's like you're on a throne.
The chair could make a difference too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
By the way, Mania, we're looking forward to seeing you in Philadelphia, WrestleCon, and things like that. What is your Mania weekend like? I mean, you do so many appearances. You have so many fans that come and see you. It's crazy every year, right?
It is, and I think this year, it being on the East Coast, being up in the Northeast, I think it's going to be even bigger. I really do. I think, and all of the, different events around during the week, because really, WrestleMania used to be just on one day. Yeah. And then it's grown to where it's almost like the Olympics. People from all over the world show up literally days in advance and attend all of I think even Progress, I think I was talking to one of the owners last night, is going to have a show there during that week.
Progress Wrestling, yeah. We just had our show last night. We'll be in Philadelphia. And of course, there's also, being in Philadelphia, the nostalgia of ECW. There's some events going on to honor ECW too.
I think Devon and Bubba and myself on Sunday are conducting a tour of the old ECW arena, which the old ECW arena does not look like the old ECW arena now. They put a lot of money in that place. Yeah. It's really nice. And back in the day, it was a complete and absolute shithole.
It smells great. It looks great now. Was it not that way when you were back?
No. We had the bingo board still hanging up, you know. And then I remember the night Shane Douglas wrestled Tully Blanchard, and the audience turned on him, and the big group of them turned around and just started going, bingo, bingo. Yeah, we want bingo.
What was it like with that? That is the rowdiest crowd, I think, ever. And I don't want to say violent, but they tend to throw things. They tend to be very, crazy.
They used
what was
to.
that crowd like in person?
Well, even up until that point, because at that point I'd probably been in the wrestling business 12, 13 years, I can honestly say in the period of time I was in ECW, I think I experienced more riots than at any other point in time in my career. That was... I remember the night we were in Plymouth, PA, and Tracy Smothers was shadow boxing police dogs that were about to eat him alive.
God.
So, it was.
You're gonna have to write an entire other book on just ECW stories.
Just ECW
and how wild they are. I love it.
Yeah.
Then we have time for a few more questions,
We've got
sir.
a couple more questions.
Let's do it.
I might stick one in at the end.
Oh, look,
if you got a question, pop your hand up. Pop your hand up. We'll see. Yeah. Very keen, sir. Lean in. What's your name, my friend?
Stephen.
And what's your question for Al?
Controversial one, Al, but my favourite match of yours was when you went out on Raw and faced Head. Not a lot of superstars, past or present, could go out and have 15,000 people on the feet to face the plastic Head.
Well, they are very adept at wrestling. They trained under Billy Robinson back in the day, so they were a tough opponent, I got to tell you.
Is there a question as well?
Can you talk me through when you were told you were going out to face Head and talk me through the actual match itself?
Well, I can tell you this. For one, what does everybody want? What does everybody need? Like, I know it's a double entendre, but literally from the first moment I came into WWE, I had an idea that, because the whole character, the whole idea on this is that I was so frustrated that I had a mental and emotional break. And if you pay attention whenever I go, what does everybody want? What does everybody need? I get a little angrier because how many years was I wrestling trying to be the thing that everybody wanted and needed and loved, and it was never me. It was Head. And at some point, I was going to get jealous, and then just like with any other wrestler, like you see, they jump the other wrestler in the back, I would do the same with Head, and, I'd literally end up creating an angle, what we call an angle, with Head like it was any other wrestler because I believe they were real. So having that opportunity to wrestle them in a match was just simply an extension of what I was trying to build to anyways, which just for me logically made sense for the character, because if I really believed they were a real person, I would get jealous of him and I would try to turn against him, and you know, we'd have that whole thing going on. I know it sounds crazy, but also realize they allowed me to stand on national TV and have a eulogy for a deer head. So, go figure.
Wrestling is so wonderfully weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
It's wonderfully weird.
I know. Sometimes I look back and I go, they actually let me do that on national live television.
I think that about a lot of things. Like, what's wrong with us? What are we doing?
Where did we go off there?
I don't know. I don't know what went wrong, but I'll tell you, what's right is that Al Snow is here in Manchester, and we so appreciate all of your amazing stories.
Yes.
You guys have to go to the autograph table and get yourselves an autograph, a selfie, a photo shoot with Al Snow. Any final words for your fans?
We'll just hang out, you know what I mean? I'll do some magic tricks. You just have to shut your eyes.
Perfect.
It'll be awesome.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise and give that Manchester love to Al Snow.
Thank you, guys.